You started? Small businesses today are slowly but surely becoming a thing of the past, as online shopping continues to grow. Some have attempted to hold on as long as they can, but more and more stores are closing their doors because they cannot keep up with a fast pace and extensive network of online businesses. Many have adopted to this new system and have either added an online front to their brick and mortar store, or they've completely switched over to an online presence. In hope to help a local business here, I, Stephen Fithian, have attempted to modernize a local soccer and hockey store called Kicks and Sticks. This is Arturo Santillan. He's the store owner. He just recently bought it from the previous owner a few months back and decided that if he wanted to stay in business, he was going to need to make some upgrades. We got together and started to plan what we needed to do. What we had to work with, though, was pretty slim. He had no way to keep track of his inventory. His POS system, or his point of sale system, his register, liked to not work on occasion. And he had no web presence to get word out about his store. It was all about word of mouth, which in today's society isn't really good enough to stay in business. So we took our time narrowing down the options. We had a $2,000 budget, so did our best to work with that. Eventually we decided that we were going to get a Shopify POS, which came with a Shopify POS, which came with an online store already, and that we were going to get him a few of these Arlo cameras to keep an eye on his store when he couldn't be there. After we got everything figured out, we began to scan and tag his inventory. So a lot of it didn't have barcodes, so we put a barcode on it and scanned it into a database so we could have easy access to all of his inventory. And so I spent a lot of time scanning. And I kept scanning, and I scanned some more. Basically, the majority of my time spent there was just scanning items. But eventually, I finished scanning everything, and I was able to create mock sites to show Arturo what his store could look like. My trial for the site I created for him ended a little while ago, so here's just an example of what the website looked like. We are currently in the process of moving said database over to his website so he can begin selling both in-store and online. And we are also in the process of getting and installing the cameras so that way he can have 24-hour surveillance over his entire store. He kind of His store is in a bit of a sketchy area, so having these cameras with motion sensors is it's a good way to keep an eye on the store when you can't be there. He also let me run the store a few times when he was swamped with orders with jerseys, and it gave me a chance to get my head away from scanning tags all day and make a few good customer relationships. I'd already been over the store already, scanning items into a database, so I had a pretty good idea of where everything was and was able to help people find what they were looking for and direct them in the direction of a better and, more often than not, cheaper solution than what they were originally looking for. Overall, it was just an amazing experience. It was awesome to see kids walk away with smiles on their faces getting new cleats, and moms walking away with said kids knowing that they didn't pay an absurd price. I'm still working with Arturo and have actually gotten a job out of this awesome opportunity. I'll be working there pretty soon here, being able to run the store, giving him a break. He really helped me to see a new light the small business world, and it was a real pleasure being able to help him out. He's made me want to rethink my career plans and maybe head toward more of what he is doing. He went from his high-paying 9-to-5 job to throwing it all away and starting a business for the first time. Although he's making a lot less, he's still able to pay his bills, and he has that feeling that his work means something to people, which I think is really important when choosing a career. I'd like to take the time to thank you for letting me present to you, and if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask. Yes?
So why would you want to start a small business?
It's a good question. Why would I personally want to start, or why would anyone want to start?
Anyone.
It's a good way to get to know your community. If you do it right, it can be very lucrative and you can make a lot of money from it. And like I said before, the feeling that your work means something to someone. So yeah, the mom could have gone online and bought $60 cleats or whatever she decided to do for her kid, but instead she was able to come into the store. Arturo would do his best to help her out and try and help her come in at under budget. He would show her another pair of cleats that was just as good, ended up costing $35. So you get to help out your community, your work means something to you, and overall it's just better. Yeah.
So what would you recommend, like, if you're starting a small business, where would you start?
Where would you start?
Yeah, like, where would you, like, place it?
Where would I place it?
Yeah. Like, where would you, like, start your small business?
Well, placing it, that's different. So, small businesses can still exist online. I know plenty of people who have small businesses but have online small businesses, so technically you could start it from your home. But in actually starting a small business, you gotta find a product to sell that people want. You gotta find a need, and you have to provide a way to fill that need. And that is with any business. So people need soccer and hockey gear, and Arturo was able to fill that need by creating a store that sells specifically soccer and hockey gear. Thank you again for coming out, letting me present to you, and I hope you all have a great day. Press the button.